Welcome. Today we are going to see an example in Power Apps.
Hi everyone! Today I will show you how to make your Power Apps responsive. Unlike model-driven apps, Canvas apps are not responsive by design. To prove that, I'll change the size of my window and the app will not adapt to this because by default Canvas apps are set just to scale the app with no native responsiveness built in. So if I hit play, this feature is auto-selected. So if I hit play, and the app will not adapt. It leaves these gray areas. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is to um, turn off in display, in settings, this scale to fit feature. If we turn that off, the log aspect ratio will turn off too. Alright, now when we hit play, we have no gray areas on the app. But this is not everything. If I put a button, a label, here on the left and one on the right, if I click play, this is not responsive. This is the app is not scaling anymore. We have to program it. So we cannot see the left or the right um, labels because this is not fully responsive yet. Alright. When we are talking about responsiveness, responsive design, we're talking about most of the time um, containers. There are three containers: the horizontal ones, the vertical ones, and a third one that will not be part of this video. The horizontal one will stack all their content horizontally, and the vertical one will do the same but vertically. This is my first container. I click on uh, um, the screen and insert another container. This will be the vertical one. Alright, let's move this container to this side. This is the vertical and this is the horizontal. And this one is vertical. If I click on the container and start adding content like buttons, you will notice the horizontal one will stack the buttons, all its elements in an horizontal manner, in an horizontal way. If I do the same and start adding buttons on the vertical container, it will do the same, but vertically. I'll add three buttons on both containers. Alright, I can justify horizontally my buttons to align to the center, to the nth, or to space between. The same can be done with the other container, the vertical one. This is the vertical justification, but we can also align them horizontally. Alright, so let's make a screen that is truly responsive. For this example, I will add a container for the header, the body, and the footer. The main container will be a vertical container. This will be the parent container that will hold all other containers. I will even rename it container parent or container master. I will then add inside, not the screen, but inside this container, another 3 containers. One that is horizontal, and I will click again the main container. I will rename it to main because it is our main container that holds all other containers. Then let's do a vertical one, and then another horizontal. We have 3 containers inside our master container. This one will be our header. This will be the body, like a web page. And this one will be the footer. Alright, well, the body has to be the largest one, and this is a very large header if we leave it like this. So we have to click on the body, and on the fill portions we can make this maybe not a 1 but like a 5. We can go up to 6, 7, but when you reach certain point you will not notice any increments. That is because each container have a minimum width and a minimum height, so they cannot be squeezed by other containers further than that number. Alright, minimum height, I don't want 100, I want 80, and it is 80, and the container is a little bit smaller. Alright, now it looks like a header and a footer. Let's start with the header. I will add an image. I will add a title, and I will add a return button. Left. Alright, but I don't want them in that order. To reorder them, simply click on one that you want. For example, I want the image to be at the right. Reorder, move to the ends, and there it is. And this one just to the start. The text will be on the middle, but I don't want them to be all here. I will justify it horizontally like this. I can separate them, and there they are. Now I want this and this one to be aligned vertically, and if this will be maybe like the name of the screen, and maybe a little bit bolder, there it is. when I click on the label, I can center the text too. I can, if I want this a little bit more separated, I can put containers into this header container to make everything more centered. But I will just add a little bit of width to this control. Width 64, maybe like 80, and there it is. It is more separated. All right, let's put an image there. I think I have one. If we go to media, we have this logo, and there it is. All right, we have our header. We can color the header. To put some color into it, the container can be colored. Maybe like this, whatever you want. It's up to you. Um, I also want to this image maybe to be smaller. Width and height. Maybe like 70. And there it is. It looks more natural now. Alright. Now let's go for the body. Usually we go for a gallery. And the gallery will adapt and fill all the available space for this container. If I want to, I can put two containers into this one, or I can just put another container, maybe a vertical one. um, I want this part to be on the right so I can scroll more freely. I just have to change the container to be horizontal, and there it is. I don't want this to have a flexible width, so it can be squeezed by this other gallery. And I can even have less width, maybe 350. It's just a side part. Maybe I can put title. This can be like on the top, like the title of. Maybe we can add something to the gallery, like a form, and insert another label, the name. And I will expand them. Notice how they were like this. This is a label that its content is aligned to the left, and this one it's aligned to the center. And if I click on the container and I expand, I stretch their content, every single one of these its content will be stretched to the sides. Although they are both stretched, um, this one it's aligned to the left because not for the container but for the label itself. And maybe in our form we want like an input, a text input, this. and we want to have a little gap between each of the content, like a 10. The gap is the space that each control has inside a container. Alright, so let's put maybe another pair of label and a text input. Maybe here like email, and at the end a button. Like this. Yeah. The submit button. I can select every one of them, and this button centered. Alright, there it is. If I put the flexible height, they will take each control I put inside a container will take um, all the available space in it that is left. If I put the flexible height, and if I don't. Alright. So for our footer, we want to have maybe a few text labels. Alright. Centered. And we want to know the width of the parent. The width is not scalable. It is not responsive. If I click on play, it will be 1366 1366 all the time, because it is not responsive yet. We have one more step left to do, and it is really simple. The main controller, the main container, does all the tricks. We just have to focus on height, and we get rid of that hard-coded height, and we put parent dot height or screen height, and the same with the width. Instead of this fixed number, we want to have the parent.width, and it's all done. If I click on play, it doesn't have any spaces. If I put this a little bit smaller, it escalates. It makes the app responsive. But there's a limit in responsiveness, like this one. We have a minimum value for these controls to be for their height and their width. So if this element has at least 100 in pixels on its width, if the app itself it's too tight, it will be the border of it. So if we want to avoid this, we can start uh, making things different. Maybe we want this to be a lot more bigger on the font size when it is a big app, and when it is a phone app, we want this maybe a little bit smaller. If we go to a phone, it is too much squeezed out. So what we have to do is maybe reduce the size of the elements, or to hide them completely, or rearrange them. Alright, I'll go out with hide them. So on the visible property of the container, because the container has all these elements, if I hide the container, all its elements will be hidden. Um, alright. Let's go with this. Parent.width. It's um the container. It will be only visible. This is the actual size of the screen. If we make it less wide or wider, we will notice this number. Maybe when we reach like 700, 800, I want to hide that container. So I got with the container, and will be only visible. Let's put 800. Okay, we have 800. We go, this is the width of the app. If we go any lower than 800, it will disappear. There are elements that will disappear when the width or the certain height of the screen is not met. Like this. On a phone, we don't want them to be put like this. Maybe instead we want to be under the gallery, or to be hidden at all, or in another screen, or in a pop-up. We have a lot of chances there. Alright, I made another example, and this is how it goes. When it is a phone version, it gets this icon a little bit smaller. With if the parent.width is less than 900, it will be this height. If not, this one. And this is how we make things responsive. Mm, we can even like hide like this footer right here, and that's it. That's about it. We can later talk about the other containers and other tricks to make everything look nicer on every device. Um, we can also go with orientation. What if we put the phone on like on landscape mode? So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.